You spend 5 years of your life trying to build something up, and all of a sudden you realize, I'm not sure it's going to last for even a couple more weeks. My name is Asaria, and I'm the founder of a company called Tulip. Tulip is the world's largest builder of apps for retailers where they use those apps inside stores. I really started my entrepreneurial journey with a company called Well.ca, which was my first company. And I didn't really know where to start, so I literally started taking things off of the shelves of my dad's pharmacy and putting them online, and that was the beginning of Well.ca. Around 2013, Well.ca was about 4 or 5 years old, and we were a significantly large company. There was probably about 140, 150 employees. We were doing about $20 to $30 million in revenue and growing, like doubling in size every single year. But at the same time, like most startups, we were losing a bit of money every year as we were investing. And so it became time to raise money again for the company. And so I remember building a list of literally 60 investors that we were going to talk to. And I went on a tour across Canada and the US. I remember at that time I was literally living inside the office. I was actually taking showers in the warehouse because there was a little gym there. And I remember telling the first ones and then the second ones and getting no's as we were going to see the 10th one. You'd get a no from the first one. And then it got to 60 no's, and we didn't have a path to being able to pay payroll. And we literally were 2 weeks away from being able to pay our salaries. What I did in the face of all of that challenge is I actually went back to our software developers and I put them all in a room. I remember telling them, I said, look, we're losing $1.5 million a year, and there's 15 software developers in this room. Your salaries are $1.5 million a year. And so we could turn around Well.ca if I could fire all of you. I'm going to give you 2 weeks severance, and then I want you to join me in building a new company. You don't have to do it, but if we do this together, we could potentially build something really great and save Well.ca. And the inspiration for the rest of my career in my life now is the response I got from those 15 people who looked back at me and said, let's do this. And that was the founding of Tulip. So the first 15 employees of Tulip were those folks that I literally fired just a few weeks before. I think for me, the biggest lesson that I've learned in startups, especially from this story, was that the company is so much bigger than yourself. And when you make yourself vulnerable and you actually take the risk of actually being honest with your team and saying, we're in this together, it's not just an individual trying to lead this company by themselves, you realize that there's so much more strength in a company when it's a tribe rather than just an individual.